It all started when we decided to move overseas from Maui to Portugal. We had to fit our whole lives into 5 suitcases and figure out what to do with the rest. We went through every drawer, kitchen shelves, bathroom cabinets, and closet, looked in every corner of the house to the surface of all the furnitures. From the big items to the small ones, we had to make a decision for every single item that we owned to see if it was worth taking with us halfway across the world.
Just trying to empty out this desk. I just put it on Marketplace and someone's coming to pick it up. All of our stuff that we emptied from the office. I sold my car this morning and I got really emotional. I didn't think that I would. Today I donated most of my books, but these are the ones that I'm taking with me. The house is an absolute mess right now. This is what it looks like.
Everything I had accumulated became the weight that I had to shed to take a step closer to my dream of living in Portugal. And it made me question why I bought these things in the first place. Did I really need so many of the same item of clothing? Who was I trying to impress? How many times did I actually read these books, listen to these vinyls, or turn on this lamp? Why was I holding on to a shoebox full of letters from people who are no longer in my life? And more importantly, what did I really trade for it in the process? Decluttering my entire life was exhausting, and at the same time, really eye-opening, as I began to slowly see what was truly essential in my life and what wasn't. And along the way, I learned a few life-changing lessons, which I thought was worth sharing with you today.
I truly didn't know how much stuff I had until I gave myself a 5-bag limit to fit my whole entire world. In the beginning, I was really skeptical. I didn't think that we could do it. So I even called around some shipping companies to see how much it would be to ship some boxes over to Portugal, and even looked into storing some things on Maui. But when we actually started getting into the process of going through everything, we were both shocked at how easy it was to kind of condense down to just our essentials. And I would say about 90% of the stuff in my house, I really had no attachment to it and didn't think that it was important. And now that I've been traveling for about 3 weeks, I think that I could have gotten rid of even more.
I am taking some of my favorite books, of course, little decor items, just so that I can feel at home. I don't want to just go completely bare. It's been crazy and very chaotic, but I think overall it's really good. We never had a reason to go through everything, even though I declutter on a regular basis. So we're really taking advantage of this opportunity.
This whole entire process has been so eye-opening for me. But one of the biggest things that my husband and I realized is just how little we really need. And to think about how much of our lives is dedicated to acquiring this stuff, I really questioned where we place our values. We work to afford nice things, and it's almost expected that the more money we make, we upgrade to a nicer home, a better car, cooler toys, just buying things to fill our home. But how much of it is truly essential to us? And for some of us, spending is completely habitual. Maybe we buy something because we're so used to having it in our homes, or maybe because we're just so used to picking it up from the store without really having a use for it. And I just wonder how much or little we could all live with if we stopped and thought about what we truly needed and wanted. Do you really care about having that nicer home? Or is having a small apartment studio just fine to accommodate your lifestyle? Do you really need a whole wall full of books in your home? Or do you just prefer to borrow them at the library? Do you really need to upgrade your car with all the new features? Or are you okay with having a 10-year-old car that just gets you from point A to point B? And the thing is, there is no right or wrong answer. But I think just taking the time to kind of ask ourselves these questions, it can save us a lot of time, effort, and money from over-consuming the things that we really don't need. When it comes to the bigger picture, now I know how little this stuff matters. And when I'm creating my new home in Portugal, I'm definitely going to keep this in mind. And I hope to be more conscious of the things that come into my life moving forward.
I am definitely going to slow down. Once I get there, just take time to settle and not buy everything right away. Some of the stuff, you know, we bought for this house and it's just been sitting there for years.
Different brands and companies are getting so good at not selling us just the item, but also selling us a lifestyle. If you want to be a cool young professional, then you would dress in these clothes. And if you want to seem like you have a healthy outdoor lifestyle, then you would drive this car and you would wear these shoes. Whatever the product is, it seems like now we're not just buying the item itself, but the whole image and the lifestyle that comes with it. But I think associating and just attaching so much meaning to these products can be a slippery slope to overconsumption. I definitely fell for the marketing. I thought that maybe having the specific kitchen set is going to make my home really picturesque. Maybe wearing a specific brand is going to associate me with that specific lifestyle. But at the end of the day, I learned that stuff is just stuff. No matter who's marketing it or how it's marketed, it's just another t-shirt or another kitchen gadget, and it really does not change our lives. I thought about my happiest moments, and to me, that's having a really good conversation with a friend, or maybe exploring a completely new place with my husband, just being out in nature and going for a nature hike. And in these moments, it's almost like an out-of-body experience. And what I mean by that is you're so completely removed from yourself because you're just part of the moment, you're part of your surroundings. You really don't care about what you're wearing or how many cool shoes that you have or what kind of car you're driving. None of this stuff really matters. And I think chasing these experiences over trying to build up an image is a more genuine way of living our lives instead of just trying to build an image of our lives. I think it's really cool to support a company because you really love what they stand for. Or maybe you'll buy from a specific brand because you really love their clothing. But none of this stuff adds to our self-worth, and it definitely does not define us.
Somehow managed to make everything fit, but it is just so heavy. So I have to go through it all over again, and I definitely need to take out some pieces. And I think that I know which pieces to take out. We're gonna be traveling for a while, so I definitely don't want to carry this with me all across the US and overseas to Portugal.
I once read a quote that said, "Everything you own begins to own you." And I really think that there's truth to this. Not only does it cost money to buy it up front, but then you have to think about upkeeping it, maybe discarding it or replacing it down the road. And we really don't think about the hidden cost of things, like our time and attention. I honestly thought that the hardest part of this whole move would be the paperwork, the bureaucracy. But actually, it was emptying out our house and deciding what we're gonna do with all of our stuff. It took a lot of effort over the course of many, many months, and it was really exhausting. And now that I buy something new, of course I'm gonna keep my experience in mind and know that this thing is ultimately going to take up room in my life, and also it's going to be my responsibility. And that definitely makes me think twice about buying anything. In fact, moving forward, I really don't care to own everything that I need. I think there are so many great resources out there. Like, for example, I think I will always take advantage of borrowing books instead of always buying books, maybe even renting clothes for specific events, and maybe I can rent some tools that I need for specific baking or gardening, things like that. I think it's just the more gentle approach to life, and it allows me to feel more lightweight as I move through life.
We did it!
We did it! Oh my god, no sleep.
Just in time, right?
Yeah, 9 o'clock.
Minimalism, intentional living, or simple living, whatever you want to call it, I think the point is not to be so careful that we can't experiment or make mistakes or even have fun, because I think there's nothing wrong with enjoying things. That's why they're there. That's why we work to enjoy these things. But the point is to not let it take over our lives and not lose sight of what's truly important to us, because we might not realize it, but it might be the very thing that's getting in the way of us reaching our dreams.